out on the open ocean, when a massive cargo vessel plows straight into a smaller boat due to navigational negligence, the immediate focus is survival. But once the crew is safe, the reality of the aftermath sets in. You are left with millions of dollars in mangled steel and destroyed cargo. On dry land, the legal remedy for this is straightforward. You identify the person or corporation responsible, locate them, and take them to court to demand compensation. At sea, the registered owner is rarely a single, accessible person. They are often shielded by a complex maze of international shell companies. Or worse, the corporation might instantly sell the offending vessel to an unsuspecting buyer on the other side of the planet to avoid liability. If a wronged party had to rely entirely on standard corporate law to chase down a disappearing defendant across international borders, recovering compensation for the damage would be practically impossible. To fix this glaring jurisdictional loophole, maritime law uses a specialized mechanism called a maritime lien. It is an automatic legal right that triggers the exact second the damage occurs. Instead of targeting the owner, a maritime lien attaches directly to the vessel. The law treats the ship as carrying its own debt. Because the debt is locked to the hull, it survives maneuvering. Even if sold to a new owner, the lien stays intact. By transforming an inanimate piece of metal into an entity that carries its own financial burdens, the law guarantees that a legitimate claim cannot simply sail away. Enforcing this lien requires a highly specific legal weapon known as an action in rem, a Latin term meaning an action against the thing. This allows a claimant to list the ship itself as the formal defendant in a lawsuit. This pyramid chart categorizes the hierarchy of claims. The list includes compensation for collision, salvage rewards, and authorized operational disbursements. But at the very top, overriding all other claims, are unpaid seamen's wages. Maritime law grants its highest protection to vulnerable crew members. Armed with a claim, the victim waits for the offending vessel to enter territorial waters, and then files an admiralty suit in a venue like a local high court. An action in rem effectively strips away the shield of corporate anonymity. The victim no longer cares who owns the shell company. They are fighting directly against the multi-million-dollar physical asset. Once the suit is filed, a judge examines the evidence. If the claimant establishes a valid initial claim, a prima facie case, the court issues a formal warrant of arrest. This results in a literal intervention by law enforcement. Local port authorities or a court-appointed marshal will board the vessel and legally freeze its operations. The ship is denied clearance to leave the port. It is trapped, held captive by the court's authority until the dispute is resolved. A detained ship costs thousands of dollars a day in idle fees. This physical capture instantly flips the power dynamic, forcing a hidden owner to step out of the shadows or lose their primary source of revenue. To free their vessel, the owner has a primary option, furnishing court-approved security. This is often a massive bank guarantee or cash deposit, acting as bail for the ship. Alternatively, the owner might calculate that the debt is worth more than the aging vessel itself, choosing to ignore the claim and completely abandon the ship in port. The court has a final penalty for abandonment. Through a judicial sale, the Admiralty Court forcefully auctions off the trapped vessel to the highest bidder. This flowchart shows what happens to the proceeds. The court takes the cash from the auction, replacing the physical ship as the security, and the money is distributed to the claimants based on their priority in the legal hierarchy. Even as a cowardly owner vanishes completely, the judicial sale liquidates the asset to pay the victims, closing the loop on the original debt. In India, the authority to execute these arrests was cemented by the Supreme Court in a 1993 landmark case involving a vessel named the MV Elizabeth. This specific ruling confirmed that Indian high courts possess the broad admiralty jurisdiction required to intercept and arrest even foreign flag ships to enforce these debts. The international ocean is vast, but it is not a lawless void. Through the maritime lien, a ship will always be forced to answer for its own actions.